Right now, off the coast of Iran, the United States has gathered more military power into one region than at any time since it invaded Iraq in 2003. Aircraft carriers the size of a skyscraper laid on its side. Destroyers that shoot missiles out of the sky. Submarines that no one can see. Hundreds of aircraft, more than 5,000 people, on a single ship. It's called Operation Epic Fury, and what's assembled there looks like the entire war machine of a superpower pulled into one point on the map. So let's actually count it, not the headlines, the hardware. Piece by piece, layer by layer, this is what the full weight of the American military actually looks like when it's all pointed at one place.
The heart of it all is the aircraft carrier, and the United States has done something striking. Of the 3 carriers it currently has available to deploy at all, 2 are aimed at Iran: the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS George H.W. Bush. Understand what just one of these is. A single Nimitz-class carrier weighs over 100,000 tons. It's powered by 2 nuclear reactors, which means it can sail for years without ever stopping to refuel. It is, functionally, a floating city, and the population of that city is staggering. More than 5,000 people live and work aboard: pilots, crew, engineers, command staff. A self-contained town that happens to be a war machine. On its deck rides an entire air force. The carrier air wing is built from around 9 squadrons, dozens of aircraft, launching and recovering around the clock, day and night, in a continuous cycle of operations. One carrier can put more combat aircraft over a target than many entire countries own. And remember, that's one carrier. There are 2 of them here, with the capacity to surge to 3. 2 floating cities, 2 air forces, parked off a single coastline. A carrier never sails alone. It would be far too valuable and far too vulnerable. So around each one travels a ring of warships, a carrier strike group. The workhorses of that ring are the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. Each one is a serious warship in its own right, armed with the Aegis combat system, a network of radar and missiles designed to track and shoot down incoming threats. These ships can knock ballistic missiles and cruise missiles out of the sky before they ever reach the carrier. In a strike group, the destroyers divide the work. One of them is actually designated the Air and Missile Defense Commander. Its entire job is to orchestrate the defense of the whole group against missile attack, coordinating who tracks what and who fires when. And they don't just defend. Those same destroyers carry Tomahawk cruise missiles, long-range weapons that can strike targets deep inland, hundreds of miles away. So the ring around the carrier both shields it and reaches out to hit. Add in specialized ships, like mine countermeasure vessels sent to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, and each strike group becomes a self-sufficient fortress at sea. It can defend the sky above it, strike the land beyond it, and hunt beneath the waves. All at once. Now look up. Because the air power gathered here is its own kind of overwhelming, and every type of aircraft has a specific job in the machine. At the top end sit the heavy hitters, the B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, the only aircraft that can carry those 30,000-pound bunker busters. The B-52 Stratofortress, a giant that hammers hardened missile and command sites. Between them, they bring the heaviest firepower in the arsenal. Then the fighters, F-22 Raptors and F-35 Lightnings, 5th-generation stealth jets that own the sky, nearly invisible to radar, there to make sure nothing challenges American aircraft in the air. From the carriers, F/A-18 Super Hornets fly around the clock, kept in the fight day and night. And then the specialists, the ones most people never think about. The EA-18G Growler, an electronic warfare plane whose job is to jam and blind enemy radar and air defenses, to go in first and make the enemy deaf and blind before the strikers arrive. The MQ-9 Reaper drones, circling for hours, hunting. even ground-based rocket artillery like HIMARS. Put it together, and it's more than 20 different types of weapon system, striking over 1,000 targets. Not one weapon, an entire orchestra of them, each playing a different part, all at once. Let's put a single carrier strike group on one picture, because once you see how it's arranged, the scale really lands. In the very center, the aircraft carrier. 100,000 tons, 5,000 people, 9 squadrons of aircraft on its deck, the floating city. Around it, a protective ring of Arleigh Burke destroyers, radar and missiles facing outward, watching the sky in every direction, ready to shoot down anything incoming. One of them conducting the whole air defense effort like a conductor. Above it all, the air wing, dozens of jets flying a constant cycle, some striking, some escorting, some watching. And below, unseen, a nuclear submarine, prowling silently with torpedoes and cruise missiles, guarding from the deep. That's one strike group. Carrier at the core, destroyers as the shield, aircraft as the reach, submarine as the hidden hunter. A single, self-contained fortress that can defend, strike, and hunt on its own. Now picture 2 of them, side by side, off one coast. That's the scale we're talking about. There's one layer of this force that you never see in the photographs. And that's exactly the point. Beneath the carriers and destroyers, somewhere in the dark water, are American submarines. Nuclear-powered attack boats that can stay submerged for months, moving in near-total silence, carrying torpedoes and long-range cruise missiles. You don't know where they are. That's the whole idea. And this isn't theoretical. Early in Operation Epic Fury, an Iranian frigate was struck by a torpedo fired from a U.S. Navy submarine and sank. The first sign of the submarine's presence was the explosion. No warning, no ship on the horizon, just a strike from nowhere, from beneath the surface. That's what makes the submarine layer so unnerving. Everything else in this force is meant to be seen. A carrier is a statement, a show of strength you want the enemy to notice. The submarine is the opposite. It's the part of the machine designed so that no one knows it's there until it is already acted. Above the water, overwhelming visible power. Below it, an invisible hunter. Both at once. This didn't appear overnight. It was built up, deliberately, month after month. Through 2025, the United States steadily fed forces into the region. First one carrier. Then satellite photos showed a second in the Arabian Sea. Additional squadrons, destroyers, submarines quietly moving into position. By early 2026, open-source imagery showed around a dozen warships and dozens of aircraft in or near the Middle East, and it kept growing from there. It's a reminder that power on this scale isn't summoned in a day. It's a slow, deliberate gathering. Ships crossing oceans, crews rotating, an entire war machine methodically assembling itself around a single country. So step back and take in the whole thing at once. What does all of this actually mean? It means far more than just a lot of ships and planes. It's a demonstration of something very few nations on Earth can do at all. Project overwhelming, sustained military power thousands of miles from home and hold it there for months on end. Floating airfields, invisible aircraft, underwater hunters, missile shields. All of it operating together, continuously, far from any American shore. Every piece depends on the others. The destroyers protect the carriers. The carriers launch the aircraft. The growlers blind the defenses so the bombers can get through. The submarines guard from below. It isn't a pile of separate weapons. It's a single integrated organism, and it functions as one. That's the real story here. Not any single ship or jet, but the fact that one country can assemble all of it, coordinate all of it, and sustain all of it in one place for as long as it chooses. That is what a military superpower looks like when it brings its full weight to bear. So,
What is the most impressive thing about the force gathered off Iran's coast? It isn't any one number. It isn't the 100,000 tons of a single carrier, or the 5,000 people aboard it, or the hundreds of aircraft, or the missiles, or the hidden submarines. It's that all of those things function as a single machine. Each carrier, each destroyer, each jet, each submarine is a marvel on its own. But the truly staggering part is that they were designed to work together. A floating city, ringed by missile shields, roofed by a stealth air force, guarded from the deep by silent hunters, all pointed at one place, all moving as one. That's what the full weight of the American military actually looks like. Not a collection of weapons, but a single organism of steel and fire, assembled thousands of miles from home and held there for as long as it wants to stay. There are only a handful of forces in all of history that could ever do such a thing, and only one that can do it like this.